Targ, our friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for another Orc Mode workout, and today was max effort lower day. But a quick reminder, for those of you who enjoy these videos, please click like down below. Help me keep the likes higher than the dislikes, and let's get over to the lifts. We got a safety squat bar PR. I am obviously much weaker on this bar. Today was good. We got 491. Now the first rep is a little high, and then the others I've already had multiple people try to come in. And look, guys, it's very clear that you have never judged a powerlifting meet in your life. I'm not going to go into the details as to why, but the fact that you're taking a look at these lifts from the front and talking about them being high, you are going to fail your certification when you go to try to become a powerlifting judge. I'm just going to tell you that right now. You're going to fail it. And everyone who's ever judged a meet and all the other coaches who watch these who laugh when people say that are going to laugh at that. You're not going to be able to pass your certification. Sorry. These lifts will pass. Other than there were the safety squat bar, and I don't have socks and shoes on, or a singlet. But yeah, these last two will 100% pass in comp. Zero doubt. People have said you could have got 500. Yeah, I feel like I could have. I left a little in the tank. But again, the upper back work is starting to pay off here. This will be up over 500. And realistically, now that this is coming along to where it is, I don't know that my original projection of 510 is even good enough. I probably need to get this to 530 or higher. So let's set that as a goal. That's a very good goal. Let's set the goal of getting to 530 on this bar. And again, just to keep my shoulders healthy and everything, and I think what I'm going to need to do is slowly work the straight bar back in, making sure I keep my shoulder health on point. And again, we'll talk about some of that later. I think I'm going to rotate back and forth between this and my cambered bar a bit. Work on getting my shoulder health fully restored, getting it feeling good. And I might have to work with a wider grip with that other bar and find my correct position for it. But if I keep getting my upper back stronger, that'll be fine. Okay, we know we need a bit more upper back for my squatting. Same thing for a lot of my lifts. Deadlifts, these went good. I was happy with this. And I'll talk about hamstrings here in a bit. I feel like I had a little bit of hamstring weakness definitely coming out the more I looked at it with where I was having that little sticking point. So I need to be able to blow through that point and then have the heavy chains to keep working my upper back in the lockout. And again, same thing. I had someone come in who's a regular viewer doesn't seem to understand how chains work. The chains, the point of these chains is not to say, oh, that I have every last link in the air. You don't want the chains to come off the ground. Okay, you need a link or two at minimum at the bottom. The majority of the chain comes up. Okay, the majority of it's up. As long as I'm consistent for my different lifts, that's all that matters. In other words, as long as we can PR with these chains with a consistent setup, and I've gotten really consistent with all my chains lately. I figured out kind of where I want everything. We'll be fine. It's about the consistency and creating the accommodation to force you to accelerate harder and to have a heavier lockout. It is absolutely not about the other. And you can tell this is someone who's never worked with chains. And I've had clients when they do that, they'll step in and say, oh, I'm trying to get the chains perfect. And I'm like, stop. You're never going to get it. You're going to waste so much of your time and your life that you're going to basically need to turn it into a full-time job. And you're not going to get the chains perfectly loaded and unloaded off the ground. And even if you do, if you change your footing or your grip width or anything, you're going to have to retune those chains completely all over again. As long as we're consistent, we're looking for consistency, not perfection. And biggest tip I can give you when working with chains. Because that's not about claiming any special lift. It's 565 plus a bunch of chains. Basically what it is. As long as I'm consistent with the way I set those chains up, I can extrapolate PRs from it. So then we did 421. I didn't feel like dropping a bunch of microplates. I'm like, this is supposed to be 85% of that max, but I left a little in the tank. Let's just round up to the nearest little set of plates because it would have been a few pounds less, but instead I just do a full plate on. I don't care. I still got my 3x3 and they didn't feel that bad. So I ended up doing 421 instead of exactly 85% of 491, so a few pounds over. Again, they felt good. A lot. Felt my upper back work. I didn't notice my quads beat up this time. My deload really let my quads recover from all that squatting and slow dragging I've been doing. My quads hurt a pretty large chunk of my deload week, but I kept massaging them, and then it finally completely went away. And now, after doing this, my quads were fine. They were not cramping or lit up the way I've been getting from squatting. So I'm very happy with that. So they're probably growing and adapting well at this point. Because again, this is the most work I've done with this bar, and a lot of times this bar makes my quads cramp. We did the heaviest max and the largest total amount of workload on rep work that I've done with this bar. No quad cramps. And then we went on to do some deadlifts. So what I did, 85% of what I just did. So in other words, I adjusted the chains. I dropped one of the heavier chains to a lighter chain on each side, which takes 10 pounds off my estimate. This is about 85% of the amount of chain I had on before. Those 68 chains goes to 58, and the same amount of the chain is on the floor. So for consistency purposes, it will still be 85%. 85% of the bar weight. Did a 3x3. Now people are going to be like, why are you using the straps? Mixed grip doesn't help build your grip that well. I do a lot of other grip work. My grip is holding really good. I'm continuing to do grip work. I don't need to keep shredding my hands. That's the first time I've done a heavy pull that I haven't torn my hands with this bar. Let's continue that. I don't want to shred them doing a bunch of heavy mixed grip work, because this would have shredded my hands up again. Because I rip skin off every time I do one of these higher rep sets I've done with this bar. My hands end up bleeding, and I'm still toughening my hands up to the deadlift bars. Okay, I've got 2 of them. This is my more aggressive one. This is one I'm most likely to be using in comp. Literally this exact brand. So we did a 3x3, but then I knocked out a 4th rep. A 4th rep on the 3rd set. So we know that we're in a good spot with that. That also tells me I definitely left a little bit in reserve, because I did all that other work before this. I've done other lifts. Hey, I've done squats right before this. So then if we come over to this and I can hit, 4 reps on the final set, and it wasn't too bad, well, we know where we are, right? In terms of strength, we're in a very good spot. It means that chain was not a true max, that chain max. Because I was able to get an extra rep, and I felt like if I would have went all out, I could have ground out one more. So, and this is 480 plus 58 chained, even though, yes, a little bit of the chain is still on the floor. I'm not even worried about it. It's really hard to get it set up much different anyways. So, I don't care. And I'll even say, what if only 40 pounds of the chain was up in the air on the other one? Well, that's still, past 600 at my lockout point, which I'm fine with. We need to get back up to the 6. But I've got to be able to get through that sticking point right below the knee. And I feel like that is hamstring. Because I did notice, too, when I went to mess with some glute ham raises just before the start of my deload week, once I finished my main workout that weekend, I did some glute ham raises just to assess, and I was struggling with my body weight on that hard setting I keep it on still, because I haven't done them in weeks or even a month or 2 probably. I took them out pretty much this last block. My hamstring strength has regressed a little. We know that some of my back strength had regressed due to the shoulder injury, so we're rebuilding it all up. But I realize I need to do some glute ham raises. They need to be back in my rotation, get my hamstrings big. It'll help me out of the bottom of my squats. It'll help me just below the knee in that mid-shin point on the deadlift. Okay, because I need to get my lats stronger again for that, get my hamstrings stronger. And we'll get up past where we were. Fortunately, we have muscle memory to work on. And other people will say, well, where's the good mornings? I don't need them right now. I will eventually start working them back in. But it's a lot of axial loading for me to throw those in, considering I'm doing squatting and deadlifting for rep work, heavy rep work after the 2 maxes. It's a little bit much on the recovery. I will slowly work them back in. But I feel like I'm okay on the good mornings right now. I feel like I'm okay. So then I did those shrugs real quick, and it was just trying to do 3 sets of 6 with 315 using my less aggressive deadlift bar. Okay, the less aggressive one. And then we did the glute ham raise, and I'm surprised. I struggle with body weight on these, but that probably kicked in some muscle memory. Probably another reason the deadlifts felt better. So again, I grabbed the 10 and managed to get 3 sets of 10. Now, they were hard sets of 10. And yes, there you guys can see some of my loose skin. The belt's not on. It is what it is. I lost 100 pounds of body fat, and I'm in my 40s. I'm not willing to take 2 months off from training to get a surgery. It's not worth it to me. Okay? Deal with it. Deal with it. A lot of people don't like it. They want to complain. They want to use it as a reason to mock me, and I always laugh at that because I'm showing it. You can see it. I'm here with an audience of over 100,000 and people can see it. I'm not particularly ashamed of it. So it's kind of silly when someone is confident to think that you're going to break them down. In fact, it says a lot about you as a person. So put that in perspective. Those who do come in and they really want to make hateful comments, put that in perspective. You're trying to break down a person who has accomplished something, who is confident and secure. You're insecure. You need to work on yourself. It'd be a good idea to. I'd highly recommend it. You'll be a better person for it. So we got our 3x10 with this. So again, we did some extra upper back work, and they threw in a little bit of grip training because again, we got the extra traps, and I feel like the extra trap work here and there will help with all my other stuff, all those other lifts that I do for my shoulder girdle and upper back and everything that I do on upper body day. If I can get just a little more trap development, it'd probably help. Now, I do on my weighted carry, so I probably don't even need the shrugs because those add up to it also. But I thought for now I'll do them, and then maybe coming up soon we'll start working good mornings back into that slot. But I need to get the glute ham raises up really strong. Just get my hamstrings as big as possible. It's kind of like my traps are the same way, really, right? Those are muscles that realistically they just need to be as big as we can possibly get them. But again, I feel like with the glute ham raise is one of these lifts that I have a love-hate relationship with. It's one of those to where sometimes I question how much it actually brings to the table because it really is a single joint movement. And even though it just hammers my hamstrings in a different way and it's great for injury prevention, I do sometimes question how much performance we really get out of it, realistically. But, by that same token, I started seeing a little bit of hamstring weakness on the deadlifts when I took it out. So maybe there's our answer. And then we did the reverse hypers. I did my normal 560. I only got sets of 20 on these because it's just I was fatigued. Low back was shot. Hamstrings were shot from all the other work. So again, instead of getting 25, we just got 20. And all I'm trying to do at this point is control the swing at the bottom so that it doesn't swing forward far enough for me to see it. Just trying to work with the heaviest weights that I can handle for at least 20 reps. And people say, well, in theory, you could try to get that heavier. No, I can't because I don't have the plates to do it. I mean, I'm using those bumpers and I'm using all of my calibrated plates, so it's not really much more weight I can put on there with the plates I currently have. And it's not like even getting calibrated plates is an option, even if I wanted to spend the money. No one has them. You can't get them. So, in theory, another 4 of those calibrated 45s would let me do it. But then we're getting up towards the weight limits of the device, and I don't have the plates. So I work with what I can here. We work with what we can. But it works. I get a tremendous pump in my low back. I get great recovery in my low back from it. I get an actual pump in my glutes. So, it's fine. It works with what we have. We work with what we can get away with having. And I mean, maybe one day when the space or the budget is better, I could always eventually, who knows, buy one of the bigger, higher rated ones, stack even more plates on, get more calibrated plates, and really push the strength up on this. But it's basically just going to be a rep game for me from here on. It really is. Because of, again, just limitations of equipment. And that's fine. High reps still build muscle. They still build strength and all this, a more restoration type movement. Perfectly acceptable. But it was a good workout. I was happy with the performance on everything today. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.